Hello again. Now, he said he'd gone into semi-retirement from politics, but Nigel Farage is back, leading a brand new party, and he joins us now. Thanks very much for being on the programme. It feels right to start with those local election results. Of course, the Brexit Party wasn't standing, but it seems like the conclusion drawn by both Labour and the Conservatives is that the public want them to do a deal. What do you think would be the consequences?
I don't agree with that. What the public want is to leave the European Union. You know, we were promised we'd leave on the 29th of March. 500 MPs voted for it. The Prime Minister told us over 100 times we were leaving on that date. The public don't want a deal, and certainly not the deal that Mrs May is talking about this morning, you know, permanent customs union, alignment with single market rules. The public want to leave and for us to get on with the rest of that of our lives.
What do you think the consequences would be if Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn did push forward some kind of customs union proposal?
I think if they push forward with this, it will be seen as a coalition of politicians against the people, and I think millions of people would give up on both Labour and the Conservatives. I really do.
So it could be almost like a realignment of
This would be the
politics.
final betrayal. I mean, frankly, if May signs up to this, I can't see the point of the Conservative Party even existing. You know, what's it for?
I mean, you're using some quite loaded language here, the final betrayal, and you're also talking about what the public want. I mean, the problem with this, isn't it, is that people want different things. There are clearly some people who support your party who would like us to leave with no deal, but there is also a lot of people who would like to see a deal, or perhaps even to remain in the EU.
If you look at the polling,
you've got to bring people together, surely.
In the last 2 months, there's been a remarkable shift in polling in this country. You know, leaving on WTO terms with no deal is now the most popular option by far.
But it's not a majority, is it?
Oh, if you offer people the choice, you know, should we stay and have a second referendum or leave on WTO terms? WTO terms has a majority.
But they're not the only choices, are they?
Every single region of England and Wales, apart from London.
Are they?
Well, they are. Either we stay or we leave, and that's really what it's all about. And I honestly think if May and Corbyn put together a deal where we leave in name only, but we're stuck inside all of the European Union structures, then I think the realignment of British politics will happen even more quickly. I genuinely believe that SW1, the Westminster bubble, not just the politicians, but much of the commentariat too, are underestimating the desire for change out there in this country.
Let's look at some of the polling, shall we? You, of course, didn't stand, as we said, in the local elections, but I have to say the Brexit Party is looking as if it is going to do extremely well in the European elections. Now, this is the latest polling from YouGov. You're up there on 30%. I mean, what are you expecting to happen?
Well, I think that we've clearly done very, very well as a very new party. We've done well with the UKIP vote. That's almost disappeared. We've done well with the Conservative vote. I think the significance of what you saw on Thursday was...
Come on, what will be a good night in the European elections? I want to pin you down.
Let me just finish. The significance of Thursday night is we saw the first cracks in the Labour vote. You know, the Labour Parliamentary Party are very, very Remain, lots of them pushing for a second referendum and to Remain, but there are 5 million voters out there, Labour voters, who voted Leave, particularly in the Midlands, the North and South Wales. And I'd love, between now and polling day, to have a debate with Jeremy Corbyn about this, because people are very confused as to what Labour's standing for.
Is that a challenge?
Well, it is if you want, it is a challenge, absolutely. I think if we can dig in to the Labour vote, then we can surprise even ourselves how well we do on May 23rd.
That polling was not looking very good for UKIP, was it, as you mentioned, down on 4%.
Yeah.
When you see that, do you feel kind of sad, or do you actually feel secretly, a little bit pleased?
26 years of my life I was with UKIP. I was the leader, the chairman, the national organiser. For me, leaving UKIP was a difficult thing to do. But now, frankly, it's past its sell-by date. It serves no purpose. It's done. It's gone.
I mean, Tommy Robinson is an advisor to UKIP.
Yeah.
One of its MEP candidates has used the N-word, other offensive language in videos. I mean, how would you define racism?
Oh, well, in the case of that particular candidate, it's just outright abuse. You know, offensive abuse, and there's no doubt they've gone in that direction. Frankly, you know, we won't even be discussing them after this election.
Is UKIP a racist party, or at risk of becoming one?
I think that it's attracted certain individuals that I would never have allowed to join UKIP. OK, well, now let's talk about the Brexit Party, shall we? Who's funding you? Amazing. So we hit 85,000 yesterday, registered supporters, all paying £25. Work it out. We've raised, getting on for £2 million through individual people joining through our website. And I can't think that any other party in the UK has ever raised money like that.
You've said in an interview previously that you've received one big donation.
160.
Who's that from?
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, yes, I'm really going to tell you his name, aren't I?
Well, why not?
Because then you would all hound him.
This is the new transparent politics, isn't it?
And we'll be declaring it at the end of July.
So why don't you just tell me then?
I don't see why. I don't see why one individual. Well, I tell you what. If everybody else will, that's fine. But you know what will happen? If I tell you the name of this person, you will hound him, all of you. You'll be outside his house for the next 3 weeks. So no. And anyway, it's irrelevant. It's a small donation. It's a small donation of £100,000. We've raised, I repeat, nearly £2 million in £25 from individual.
Doesn't he deserve some scrutiny?
And he'll get it all in good time. Who's funding Change UK?
Well, I'll be asking them.
Well, there you are.
There you go. I also want to ask you about Claire Fox as well.
Yeah.
One of your candidates, the top of your list in the North West. Now, of course, there has been some media attention on the fact that she hasn't disavowed some of these comments that were made in 1993 defending the IRA.
Well, this is a classic stitch-up smear story. Number one, she made no comments herself in 1993, but she was a member of a left-wing organisation who were Irish Republicans. Nothing unusual in that.
And what they said, the Revolutionary Communist Party, of which she was a member, they said, we defend the right of the Irish people to take whatever measures are necessary in their struggle for freedom. I mean, that was made after
I think we may be looking at
Warrington.
Let's just be very clear, shall we? Claire Fox says there were dreadful things that happened before the peace agreement, which she hates the fact that they occurred. She supports the Good Friday Agreement and does not want politics to be pursued by violent means. And the irony of her being attacked when Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell were personal friends of Sinn Féin IRA, personal friends, attended Palestinian martyr ceremonies, commemorating people who tortured and murdered Israeli athletes. Frankly,
just to be clear,
Claire Fox, frankly, this is an irrelevant conversation.
Jeremy Corbyn has said he has spoken to all sides in the debate. I have also asked Jeremy Corbyn about his relationship with the IRA in previous interviews. So I think it is fair to do the same.
It's fair to say that he knew Adams and McGuinness very, very well. Okay. Absolutely.
Now, I also want to ask you about some comments that you yourself made quite recently as well. This was at the Lockhaven University in the United States, and you were talking about immigration and integration, and you said about this. I could take you to a town called Oldham in the north of England, where literally on one side of the streets where everybody is white and on the other side of the street everybody is black. Yeah. There is no assimilation.
Yeah, well, sadly true. I was first put onto this by Charles Wheeler, the late respected journalist, who Tony Blair commissioned him to do a report as to what had happened in Oldham, why there'd been riots, and this is pretty much what he told me.
But what I don't understand...
And then in 2012, Oldham Council themselves, having looked at the 2011 census, said we have a massive problem here of division. I could even go to The Guardian's northern correspondent, Helen Pidd. And if you look at it, you've got one ward in Oldham that is 97% white, and literally adjoining it, the next ward that is 66% black. There is a 66% massive...
66% black?
Yes.
Because if you look at the census...
However, some streets...
The census,
some streets are well over 90.
1.2% of the population is black. Are you sure
have you been to Oldham?
I have, yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go this week, shall we? And let's go this week.
I will go to Oldham.
And I will show you, there is complete segregation within Oldham.
Can I just be really clear?
If you're arguing for segregation, that's fine. I'm arguing for integration, and I think there's a real problem here.
I'm actually not talking necessarily about integration, because there is a complex debate on that. What I'm talking about is the specifics of facts, because 1.2% of the population in Oldham is black. So I just want to...
Should we just try this again? Should we just try this again? In one of the wards in Oldham, it is 97% white, and the adjoining ward is 66% black. Now, you can believe me or disbelieve me, but they are the facts. And I'm making an argument here for integration. What's wrong with that?
OK. What's the Brexit Party's policy on immigration?
We want a sensible immigration where we don't discriminate against people that come from India, Australia and the rest of the world.
OK. Now, just finally, who do you think should be the next Conservative Party leader?
I'm not sure that debate's really relevant. I mean, I know people talk about Boris or Dominic Raab. Well, both of them voted for Theresa May's treaty in the final analysis. I'm not sure either of them really would deliver a proper Brexit.
Steve Baker? I think
there's a different conversation coming here. I think maybe the Conservative Party, as it is, isn't really fit for purpose. Maybe we're thinking really here now about a complete realignment of British politics. The two-party system does not work. They serve no one but themselves, and I believe if ever there was a moment when that two-party structure would break down and be replaced by something new, it's now, and that's what we in the Brexit Party are going to try and do.
OK.
Ambitious, I agree.
Nigel Farage, thank you for being on the programme.